Got David Quinn here. If you have any questions, go for it.
Hey, David. Any lineup changes tonight?
Not sure. Dealing with a couple of health issues, so we'll know more later today.
Okay, but just to confirm, you said yesterday Kappa will start.
Yep.
Wanted to ask you about Addison's game yesterday. Obviously, he just came from, I think Mario said he came from New York, so that's a pretty long flight to come in and have to play the next game. But and he did do a lot of good things in terms of moving the puck. But did you see that maybe a couple times they maybe needed to pick up the pace a little bit, and could that be related to obviously the long travel?
Yeah, I mean, I liked his game in a lot of areas. I thought he had a good night, but I think if you ask any coach after the game ends, you want everybody to play just a little bit faster, So, but I liked his game, and it's a different system that he played in mini. So his D zone's going to have to, and it will continue to improve. But I thought for the first night doing, for really getting in and having a pregame skate, I think they did a real good job.
And of course, the penalty kill has really come through for you guys the last couple of games. But related to that, though, is you guys have had sort of a tendency to take an early penalty in the last few games here, and actually in a lot of games this year. And I just wonder the impact of that, because that kind of throws you off your 5-on-5 plan a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you don't want to start games with penalties, and that's obviously been a little bit of a problem for us here in the early part of the season. It's something we've got to clean up.
Is that a concern that you've addressed with the team, or do you stress that you guys are more successful on the kill and that's what you guys concentrate on? That
No,
if you guys take these
need
penalties, okay, but
no. Yeah, we don't want to take these penalties. I mean, to me, they're, a couple of them I could question some of the calls, but at the end of the day, we can't put ourselves in that position. So we've got to do a better job not starting off with a penalty.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah.
David, talking about the penalty kill last night at the end of the third period after, Granlund took that penalty. You kept Hochuk and Ruda out there basically to finish the game for the last 2+ minutes. Does that just speak to how much trust you have in that pair right now, and what makes them so effective in your opinion as a penalty kill unit?
Well, they're both long, which always helps when you're in that situation. I think Ruda's played his best hockey here the last 3 or 4 games. I think he's been physical. He's played with confidence, and Nikita's done a really good job. We've touched on, he's missed a lot of hockey here in the last 8 months, and he's played well, and he's very coachable, wants to learn. He's done a really good job. So, we just felt like they gave us the best chance in those situations last night.
You also had William Eklund out there for a little bit for that kill. How has he improved maybe in that facet of his game?
Well, he's a smart player. He makes good reads and, can clear a puck when it gets on his stick. Sometimes it gets lost in a penalty kill situation. So, he's earned that opportunity. He's done a good job with it.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Hey,
David. Go ahead, Tara.
Sorry, just one quick question. I think the stat is 35 block shots last night, which seems to be a team record. I'm confirming that, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
Does the team feel a little banged up?
I'm sure they do, but they understand that it's a National Hockey League, and schedule says we're playing in Vegas tonight, and we've gotten 2 good efforts and 2 good results here over the last 2 games, and one of the things that we don't want to do is pass up an opportunity to continue to build on what we've done. So, our guys are going to get some rest. They've had some rest since we got to the hotel. They get a little bit more rest, and nobody wants to hear about your injuries or how you feel, right? I mean, they're going to drop the puck at 7, and we've got to be ready to go.
Thank you.
But David, I wanted to kind of similar to what Curtis asked about the defensive side of things towards the end of the game. You made that switch with LeBanc and Cunnin. Is that something that you feel balances the lineup more?
Yeah, I just thought he kind of gave that line a little bit more balance, and I thought they struggled early, and then they got a lot better once Cunny went on. I thought he had his best game of the year. So, you know, it was just something that we felt was after the first period. You know, I was actually thinking of doing it before then, but we waited for the period to end and made that change.
The forecheck last night, not necessarily through the neutral zone, but creating turnovers in the opposition's defensive zone, just seemed like you guys capitalized on 2 goals like that with turnovers. Obviously, the first one was a significant turnover. Is that something, you know, one of the adjustments you made? Was that something done in the offensive zone forecheck?
No, I mean, listen, we've been trying to be, you know, more thorough offensively, structurally, but one of the things that can happen when you don't turn the puck over, which I, you know, thought last night was one of our better games in that area, you're able to play structured and get on top of people. And, you know, too often during the course of this season, we've just turned it over way too much, and we haven't been able to get in any type of structure, whether it be defensively or offensively. And I thought last night we managed the puck a lot better and gave us a chance to create a little bit of a successful forecheck and be better in our own end.
When it comes to the lineup tonight, I know you probably won't tell us, but is there any way you could let us know who may be not feeling well?
No, I wish I could. I just
worth a
can't.
shot.
It was. It's a great effort.
You really wish that you could.
Well, I wish
sense
from
the sarcasm.
From the bottom of my heart, I wish I could tell you.
David, I had a question.
I wanted to ask you about. Oh, go ahead, Max. Sorry about that.
Oh, it was JD here. Sorry.
I wanted to ask you about Luke. Oh, sorry, I'm stepping on you, JD. Sorry, that was Max. Go ahead, JD. Sorry about
that. Sorry, with the defenseman, I wanted to ask, especially because there's still a lot of young defensemen, you know, in Emerson, and, you know, Knijov is still kind of working his way back from his injury. How do you try to kind of balance getting these guys some ice time and getting them back in the lineup with so many guys right now?
Well, it's not easy. And obviously it's a long season and you don't want somebody sitting for a long period of time. That's something we actually talked about this morning. So, but, you know, we're playing pretty well and, you know, a couple wins. So, don't really see the need to change it.
David, I just want to ask about Luke. You mentioned that you thought it was his best game. Do you think that he's sort of obviously coming off his knee injury, that maybe that's, you know, maybe slow to start the season because of that, just getting back the time?
Yeah, I think for sure. I mean, you know, it's a big injury and, you know, it's 10 months or, well, 11 months now, but I mean, that injury takes longer, and I know guys feel better and they're recovering quicker and coming back quicker, but I still believe it's a time thing where even though you're playing and you're rehabbing and you feel great, I mean, to get to the level you need to get to be successful at this level, I think it takes, you know, over a year. So that was a good sign last night that, you know, we had a little extra jump in his step, and, you know, that was his best game of the year.
Is that the Cunning you expect, or do you think he's still got another level?
Oh, there's another level for sure.
And finally, I just want to ask you about that play that William made on Connor McDavid on the PK at center ice there. Did that kind of give you guys a little bit of a jolt? You kind of just open your eyes. Oh, wow, that's that's Connor McDavid getting stripped by 20-year-old prospect rookie.
You know, but again, he had, you know, he wasn't flat-footed. He had a great stick. And, you know, there was also the desire, which to me is really what that play was all about. He never gave up. He was, you know, combative. There was a resiliency to him. And, you know, that was a result of a bunch of things, but more than anything, a want and a desire to make sure that McDavid didn't skate by him.
Thank you, David.
David, you had that interesting quirk in the beginning of the year, to say the least, of playing the division winners in a row to start your year. And now, interestingly, you get 2 of the elite centers in the league back-to-back, with McDavid last night and Jack tonight. And you had Eichel for a year at BU, and he went second that 2015 draft behind McDavid, and Connor kind of took over after that as being considered, rightfully so, the preeminent player of his time. But now with Eichel doing what he did last year, being healthy again, winning a cup, is that gap a lot closer for you as an observer of those players and someone who prepares his team to play against them?
Yeah, and, you know, probably the wrong guy to ask that because there's a bias from my side of it, but I think for sure he's closed the gap. And, you you know, it was a tough go for him for a while there for a variety of reasons. And it used to frustrate me to hear some of the things I heard about him because I knew they weren't true. And I knew inevitably that this was going to be where he was going to be in his career. And not only winning, but also being one of the elite players in the world, because that's who he is and that's what he is. And he puts a lot of time and effort into it. He cares so much. And, you know, he's the guy that teammates love. So it may have taken a little bit longer because of a lot of things that were out of Jack's control, but I was pretty confident and it was inevitable he was going to be in the place he's in today.
So fair to say that if at the end of the year he was a Hart Trophy finalist, you wouldn't be shocked?
No, I would not.
Thank you.
David, just follow up. Sorry, I just want to ask on that. When Jack was going through these tough times, and obviously he had his injury, you know, his surgery and, you know, the experimental surgery or whatever. Just did you talk to him and just sort of just kind of give him pep talk? I don't know if he was ever down or just what was that like?
Yeah, we had conversations for sure. You know, but again, you want to give people space, and I don't want to overstep my bounds. But I mean, Jack and I have a lifelong relationship, and we do talk during the course of the season, and I'll see him tonight at some point. And you know, we did have conversations leading up to what he was going through, and you know, I talked to his dad every now and then as well. So, but I knew we had great people in place to give him the proper advice, not only medically but emotionally, and you know, he knew that I was always here for him if he needed me.
David, I wanted to ask you, it's not so much in your realm, but it's something that you can see. The Sharks from last year to this year have grown in revenue 40% and have reached the $1 billion value threshold. When we talked to Mike on Monday, he talked about how the fans stuck it out despite the effort against, you know, despite the result against Pittsburgh. What does it mean to know that, you know, maybe given the recent struggles, of the business of the Sharks is still continuing to grow at a pretty significant rate?
I'm sure it makes Hasso very happy, but it makes all of us very happy because, as Mike touched on, I mean, this has been a tough go here for the last 4 or 5 years. And as I've said many a times, we're paying the price for, you know, a long, long run of success and trying to win a Stanley Cup. And if you look at all the teams in our situations, that's usually the price you got to pay at some point in time down the line. And ours may be a little bit harder than others, but we're slowly getting out of it. And like I said last night, nobody ever wants to lose 2 games like that. But there were only 2 losses, and you know, I was pretty confident we were going to get a response from our guys the way we have. They've been through a lot, and you know, but like I said, I mean, you know, hockey's thriving in America and in North America and worldwide, and this is a great hockey area. So I'm not surprised that the value has increased the way it did.
And then last one for me for tonight's game, Aiden Hill will be, it looks like he's in goal for Vegas, but they're also getting Zach Whitecloud back. Obviously, they're the reigning champs, but just getting a guy like Whitecloud back in the lineup, another big body, heavy body, just they're getting healthier. How do you guys combat that? Like, especially since they're coming off 2 straight losses.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they got as big and as strong a decor and thorough decor as there is in the National Hockey League. So, you know, you better be quick off of walls. You better have some offensive anticipation. You better have a desire to get to the net, or it's going to be a long night. And that's something that we touched on this morning. And, you know, obviously they get another defenseman that they rely on who's a very good player. So, but when you play the defending Stanley Cup champions, I don't expect there to be a roster littered with bad players. So it's not a surprise.
Last one for me. What have you seen from the Hertl, Eklund, Zetterlund line that you think really come together over the last 2 games?
Well, there was a lot of chemistry last night, boy. There was things were happening quickly for him. I thought Tommy had his best game since I've been here. I thought Tommy Hertl was immense last night. And I think Z and Eki are kind of feeding off it, but those guys have played very well. They're playing at a pace. There's a confidence to them and a swagger to them, which is good to see. And we're going to need that tonight.
All right. Thanks, David. Good luck tonight.
Okay, thank you, David.
Thank you.
They